Hey, what's going on, everybody? Bringing you guys some breaking news from Global X. This is a press release that they are launching the first copper covered call ETF. So they've actually already launched this. The ticker for this ETF is CPCC. It's the first ETF globally to offer a covered call strategy on equities of copper producing companies. All right, so you get indirect exposure to copper, which is a critical mineral. So this is a press release straight off their website, and they just give a little bit of a rundown on copper, one of the world's oldest industrial metals. It's essential for infrastructure, technology, manufacturing, and the rapid growth of electrical and data centers required to support AI. And we all know what's been going on with AI, completely on the run lately. So we're going to jump into some returns, dive into these ETFs, what it holds. And I was actually pretty surprised when I looked into copper. It's not something I've really looked into too much. So the returns this year have been absolutely insane. But the US Geological Survey in November 25 added copper to its list of critical minerals. Basically, this reflects the importance to the US economy, national security, paves the way for greater investment and restrictions on international imports. So they say that copper is one of the best metals to take a covered call approach on. This is coming from the head of investment management and strategy at Global X. He's saying that supply and demand factors can result in larger month to month movements. And so options writing strategies could harness generating above average yields. Now, you guys are going to see here, because this is a new ETF, there's no yields advertised. Actually, there's not even a first distribution that's been advertised. So, as far as a yield or a dividend distribution, I don't know, because there's no way we could calculate that. But this is talking about their option strategy, typical Global X strategy. They will write out of the money calls on up to 50%. So, this is similar to like USCL, QQCL, all the other popular Global X funds. And it says here that so you get exposure to performance of broad range of copper mining companies globally. And then on B, it says at least monthly distributions of dividend income and options premium. So I kind of thought maybe this would be potentially be one of those ETFs that Global X has that pays twice a month, but it doesn't say that. And if you look here, guys, it is listed on the TSX, which these other ETFs like BCC that Global X has, they're not on the TSX. I think they're on NEOS. So I think that this is just going to be a monthly pair, but still good, still really good, very interesting. So you get a ETF that writes covered calls on copper and monthly distributions. Okay, basically what we're looking at here. Now, here is the ETF website. So CPCC is the ticker, trading today at 1992. Okay, so reasons to consider CPCC, kind of just what we went over on the press release there. So you're getting recurring option premium, monthly income, consistent income stream from the copper mining sector while still maintaining exposure to long-term growth potential of electrification and AI-driven copper demand. This is a really interesting one, guys. This is not an asset that I've really looked into. So this is very interesting for me to look at. And it talks about copper prices moving sharply. So that could be some good yields there. I guess we'll see. Net assets coming in at just under 2 million. Guys, this ETF just came out, so this is not a large ETF. It just came out the other day. But as you can see here, like there's no expense ratios that are listed. There's no distributions. Like here's their distributions. Nothing is listed yet. So as far as a yield or a distribution, we're not going to know that quite yet. But here's the interesting thing. These are the holdings of CPCC. So if you want that covered call ETF with that monthly income from copper, here's what you're getting exposure to, right? So I actually Googled the world's largest copper ETF, and it brought me to this one here, COPX by Global X. So that's their top holding, and here's COPX. This is what it holds and writes covered calls on, okay? Now, this has been around since 2010, expense ratio of 0.65%, and net assets of 3.55 billion. This is a very, very popular ETF, guys. So here's just a little bit of details on it. You're getting investment results that correspond generally to the price and yield performance. The Selective Global Copper Miners Total Return Index. So they're tracking, I guess there's an index, a copper index that they're tracking with this ETF. It's pretty cool. So they got 41 holdings, and if you look at the distributions as far as dividends, it's under a 1% yield, so there's not a big yield on it. But they do have a large dividend history here going all the way back to 2010, and it looks like they pay out twice a year. So you get a dividend every 6 months, but a pretty good dividend. Some of these 71 cents, 39 cents, 50 cents, 39. So it kind of looks like it fluctuates, but this ETF here is not what you'd be looking at for income. These are just semi-annual dividends that would be paid out, right? But here's where it gets interesting, guys. So when you look at the cumulative percentage since inception, this ETF is up 104% and year to date, 57%. But I went to the stocks chart here. I just went down to stocks to check it out. CopX, guys, year to date, 75%. Very interesting, right? Because when you look at the S&P 500, we're up to the year to date 16, almost 17%. So copper, again, not something I'm too familiar with, but you're getting access to all these different copper mining companies. You guys can see here, there's a whole bunch of them. And so you're getting access to a lot of different copper mining companies. And the performance, I guess it kind of speaks for itself here, guys, because you can see there's a big demand for copper as far as AI and infrastructure and all that type of stuff. So if you guys are interested in copper to diversify your portfolio, might be something to look into here. CPCC from Global X. It just started trading. And as you can see here, they've rated it as a high risk rating. And I don't believe that this one uses leverage. So maybe we'll see if they come up with a leveraged version of this. But this is CPCC Global X Copper Producer Equity Covered Call ETF. Again, guys, no yield, no distributions, but we'll keep an eye on this and see what it comes out to. Once we get that first distribution, we can kind of do some math with the share price and see what that yield actually is. But you can see what they hold, 20% in that CopX ETF, and then they've got some individual mining companies here. But you'll notice with those companies, those individual mining companies, they're actually what they hold here. So they've got the ETF, but then they've got individual names. So I guess they've picked some of maybe what they think are the better names for options out of these and then plucked them individually into the CPCC ETF. But if you guys are interested, you can check it on the website. They got a prospectus, they got the product sheet, all that type of stuff. We'll have to keep an eye on this one and see what the yields come out to, because it's kind of interesting, right, guys? Copper, crazy returns year to date for copper. CopX at 75% year to date, 1 year 57, 2 year 92, and all time of 91% since they started trading back in 2010. So could be an interesting way to diversify your portfolio. But anyways, guys, hope everybody has a great week. I'll catch you guys on the next video.